This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. So as everyone knows, the Republican Party right now has a trifecta. They control the House, control the Senate, and of course, they have the White House. And usually the party in power like this, especially if they have the White House, they tend to have some pretty bad midterms. Just look back at 2018, 2010, 2006. Usually, the party in power, they tend to get absolutely crushed in the midterms. And that's what a lot of people thought was going to happen in 2026. A lot of people were saying Democrats are going to take back the House. Hell, some people are claiming they're going to take back the Senate, which is just crazy. But the point is, historically at least, the 2026 midterms look to be kind of bad for the GOP. Well, it seems like President Trump's team right now is trying to put a stop to that, as a little while ago, Axios released an article detailing how Trump's team plans to not just keep the House in 26, no, they want to expand their majority. Now, before I continue with today's video, I need you to like and share this video right now. This is the best way to support the content. It helps the video out in the algorithm, so like and share the video right now. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. These are great ways to support the daily content, but enough of the promotional stuff. We gotta talk about the 2026 midterms and how Trump's team is trying to buck all historical trends. Because like I was saying, usually the party in power, they tend to get wiped out in midterms. It happens every single midterm. Now, sometimes here and there, I guess there are some exceptions, like 2002, but outside of that, usually the party in power, they don't win anything. In midterms, they just lose. Well, there are some data points out there that suggest that the Republican Party, they're in a good position, ignoring what Trump wants to do, which we'll get to in a second. There are some numbers that suggest that the Republican Party, despite them being absolutely incompetent, they could still take back the House. Even without Trump's plan, they could still take back the House right now. Just look at the RCP average, and yeah, right now it's roughly D+2, which compared to 2024, it is an improvement. Back in 2024, Republicans won the generic ballot by, I think it was 2 or 3 points, somewhere in that range. But for starters, this ain't that big of a lead. This is not this D+6, D+7 lead like it was back in 2018. Back in 2018, Democrats had a huge advantage in the generic ballot. That's a fact. And even as early as May of 2017, they were up by 6 to 7 points. Yeah, so right now, this lead is not massive. Far from it. Right now, it's a small lead. And you could argue that, well, you have pollsters like Fox News and the New York Times, which they're pretty bad. They have Democrats with this insane lead. Every other pollster has Dems up by maybe 1, or it's a tied race. Hell, Big Data Poll, which is one of the best pollsters, they have Republicans up by 2. So right now, it's effectively a tied race for the generic ballot. Which, if you're the Democrat Party, you don't want that. And this is the middle of the trade war stuff. This is when Democrats had their surge, which it turns out was BS. But the point is, Democrats right now should be up by 4 points, maybe 5. They should not be up by barely 2. And that's with some very bad pollsters pushing crap like Fox News, like the New York Times, pushing D+7s, D+3s. So that's their first problem. The generic ballot is not looking good. And on top of that, the other numbers, Trump's approval and the direction of the country, they're very good. Compared to 2017 at least, they are way better. Right now, Trump's underwater by 2, but that's with pollsters like YouGov and Reuters pushing their crap. If it wasn't for those insane -10 approvals like Reuters is claiming, Trump's approval would be back up to +1. And I would argue, though, the most important poll right now is direction of the country, which has been negative for decades. It has not been positive since, I think, 2002, maybe? So, yeah, it's been negative for a very long time. And right now, the direction of the country is getting better. Rasmussen reports, for the first time ever, according to their tracker, they found that a majority of Americans think that America is heading in the right direction, which means people are having faith in Trump. They're saying America's back. They approve of what Trump is doing. So in other words, Democrats, you could argue they don't have much room to grow. Because yeah, they're up by 2, but the undecided voters, these voters, they're saying America's back. They approve of Trump. They like Trump now. And a lot of those undecideds that are maybe more skeptical of the Republican Party and even of Trump, well, guess what? They hate Democrats more. So yeah, the numbers right now, it's looking bad for Dems. They should be up by 4 or 5 points. They should be at 49% right now. They're barely at 45%. And yeah, Republicans are at 44%, but that's the Republican Party being dumb. A lot of these undecided voters, they're going to break for the GOP. That's one part that no one's talking about. These undecided voters, they're going to break Republican in 2026. Unless Democrats, have a surge and Republicans have a collapse or something. If that happens, that's a different story. But right now, these undecided voters, they lean towards Trump. They lean towards Republican Party by a wide margin. So yeah, the numbers right now, they do tell a different story compared to 2018. But let's talk about what Trump is trying to do to prevent a 2018 repeat. Because let's be honest here, he doesn't want that, obviously. Because if Democrats even get a 1-seat majority, the millisecond they take power, they're going to impeach Trump every single day. Investigations on the same crap we heard back in 2019. It's going to be a repeat. And Trump doesn't want that. He wants to get stuff done. And that's why Trump is so worried about 2026. He wants to not only keep the majority, which is very small, he wants to expand it. Because if he expands his majority, you can actually do more stuff. That's been the biggest problem. It's such a small majority that it takes only Thomas Massie and 2 other morons to stop anything from passing. That's the major problem. If you have like a 10-seat majority, yeah, it's still kind of small, but you don't have to worry about Thomas Massie blowing up every single vote. And the first part of Trump's plan is trying to prevent retirements. And this is something that it can go both ways, as it's good, but it can also be bad. I understand what Trump is worried about. He's worried about people like Michael Lawler in New York, who's in a Democrat seat. He doesn't want him to retire. Because Michael Lawler, he's going to win that seat forever. As long as he runs, he's going to keep that seat for a long time. Unless something crazy happens, he's going to win that seat every single year. Well, if he retires, we're probably not winning that seat. More than likely, especially in a midterm. I understand. I understand why Trump is worried about Michael Lawler. That's why Trump even endorsed him, which I'm surprised about. He wants Michael Lawler to stay in that seat because he knows if you allow him to retire or run for the governorship, you're losing. You're not going to win. But at the same time, would you really care if, say, Andy Barr retires? Who, by the way, Andy Barr, he's running for the Senate, and I hope he loses. It's like the White House is saying that, oh, if Andy Barr doesn't run for re-election, we have to spend so much money there. I disagree with that. Like, I think Trump's team, they're claiming they're worried about Andy Barr. I don't think so. They're more worried about, Michael Lawler's seat. They're more worried about John James' seats, the actual competitive seats. Because Andy Barr's seats, Trump plus 15, no matter who you run, unless he has a big scandal, they're going to win by like 10 points or whatever. So who cares? Who cares who you run in that district? You're going to get an upgrade because Andy Barr sucks. So the first part of the plan, it goes both ways. Yeah, you want to make sure people like Michael Lawler, they're not perfect, but you want Lawler, Fitzpatrick, those guys, you want them to stay. You don't want them to retire because if they do, you're not winning. So that's the first part of the plan. Okay, I can understand for some people, but I don't care if Andy Barr retires or somebody like that. Get rid of him. Who cares? Just let him retire. Let him run for that Senate seat and lose the primary. Get him out of the House. People like Andy Barr suck. You can get somebody way better in that district. And the second part of the plan is spending big, which we talked a lot about recently. Trump is raising a ton of money. We're not talking about a small sum of money. He has built up a political apparatus worth $500 million, if not way more. And their plan is trying to get up to $1 billion by the midterms. And this has always been the problem for the Republican Party, especially in the last 10 to 15 years. The Republican Party has gotten outraised every year. They keep getting outraised by Democrats because Democrats raise a ton of money. They have Act Blue, which is going away, which that alone is going to help Republicans big time. The fundraising apparatus for Dems, it's dead. And at the same time, you're getting Trump raising a ton of money for you. Now, according to Axios, Trump's team is already spending money on ads, which, good. It's about time Republicans finally understand, oh, wait a minute, we can actually spend money before Election Day. This has always been a problem. For whatever reason, Republicans keep doing this crap of, oh, we're not going to spend any money on any race whatsoever until 5 minutes before Election Day. I'm not exaggerating. That has happened so many times, which it's always baffling. Why waste all this time and not spend any money? It's stupid. Well, it looks like Trump's team, they're spending money right now. And on top of that, apparently Trump's leadership PAC, Never Surrender, is planning to give directly to Republican candidates, which I've always wondered why we didn't do this in the first place. If you know a Republican is having an issue fundraising or they need more money, why don't you just give them money directly? Why? I know they do this a little bit here and there, but it sounds like Trump's team, they're not talking about a small sum of money of like $5. It sounds like they're going to use this potentially up to $1 billion on trying to expand the majority, which is good. Now, there's other things like taking primary challengers off the table, which that's common sense. This killed us in 2022. This is like the number one reason why we did not have a bigger majority. We had these brutal primaries in 2022 everywhere, not just in one race, but you had primaries everywhere. It was brutal, it was pointless, and we spent so much money and time on these primaries that it gave Democrats an advantage. Now it sounds like Trump's team is saying, no more primaries. And I know, we gotta target people like Tom Tillis, who I think is gonna lose no matter what, so just get rid of the guy. But don't do this for every single primary. Like, don't try to target Michael Lawler. That would be stupid. Michael Lawler, if he loses that primary, you lose that seat. He's the only Republican I can think right now could actually win that district. Maybe that changes, but right now, don't target people like Michael Lawler. That's stupid. Go after very bad people like Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis is worthless. He's going to lose that race anyways, so just get rid of him. Try somebody different. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for when they say this. Just don't go after Michael Lawler because you're going to lose. Compare this strategy to the Democrat Party. Democrats right now, they're not uniting behind candidates. In fact, they're already having disastrous primaries. Just look at Michigan. Michigan right now looks like an utter disaster. They have like 5 or 6 people running. No one knows who's going to win the primary. It's an utter mess. Republicans, meanwhile, they're getting behind Mike Rogers. Like, Mike Rogers isn't perfect, but at the bare minimum, he has a good chance at winning. Democrats, though, it's like 4 people running. It could be up to 6 people. It's going to be an utter shit show no matter what. So, yeah, Democrats are having the same problem the Republican Party had back in 2022. In fact, far worse. You could argue this is going to be way worse because Democrats are insane. They're going to go after anybody they don't like. Even people like Jared Golden, who votes Democrat like 95% of the time. They may target him. The only Democrat that can win that district, they're going to go after him. So, yeah, Republicans have an advantage just because they grew half a brain, or at least Trump's team did, and Democrats, they've learned nothing. Now, the final parts of the strategy is raising more money, which they already talked about this, and recruiting. They're going to be focused on recruiting good candidates, not people off the street that no one ever heard about. No, people that are good on the issues, they'll stand with Trump, and people that can actually win. So overall, I like what Trump's team is doing. I think Republicans, despite their incompetence, they could still expand their majority in both the House and the Senate. Despite everything going on, just because Trump's team has a brain, and because Democrats are so insane that people see Republicans as not good, but compared to Democrats, they're a better alternative. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.